My passion is children, and I wanted to make a difference in a child's life, and I knew that one way I could do that was through child sponsorship, just to give them that access to education and to food and water, and just to give them that head start in life that they deserve.
I sponsor a child because I think it's a really important thing to do. I do a lot of things because I believe that I have a responsibility to help other people and to use the blessings that I've been given to serve and help other people achieve things and reach a sort of a higher standard for themselves.
We got started up because we at the time when we got set up, we didn't have any responsibilities like a little one like this, and we thought we would get involved in some way to support this organisation. And it was we've been with them for about going on nearly 5 years, I think.
And I think at the time, David and I think recently had gotten married, and we were spending a lot of our time and a lot of our money, like, I don't know, just doing random things, you know, going out to the movies and going to restaurants and going out, and we actually, you know, we always saw the ads on TV and all that, but we never really, you know, thought about it. But it wasn't until actually we did some volunteer work for World Vision. We went in one day and we just helped do some stuff, some envelopes for the supporters, and then we saw, you know, I guess seeing the children, you know, kind of brought it to life for us. And then we were like, okay, we should sponsor a child, and we have ever since. Yeah, that was 5 years ago.
We sponsor a child in Africa because we wanted to have a different dimension to our family. The child that we sponsored is actually 10 days different from our son Hayden, and so we wanted a balance of what it was like in Africa as well as in New Zealand.
Well, about 25 years ago, my husband and I were fairly newly married. We got a letter through the mailbox from World Vision, just basically an annual appeal saying, would you like to sponsor? And it had been something that I'd always wanted to do. So we sponsored a child, and 26 years later we still sponsor more than one child actually. And one of the reasons for that is that we're Christians, and we really feel prompted that this is something, looking after children is something of God's own heart. But more importantly, I feel that we have been very blessed living in New Zealand, and we have I believe we have plenty of everything. We have plenty of food, plenty of water, we have a house that we can call our own, and we know that there are many people in this world who are not as fortunate as we are, and it's just a really small way that we as a family, we have 2 children as well, but we as a family can actually help other people in countries that are not as blessed materially as what we are.
Well, the reason I sponsor a child is primarily, I believe, because I'm a Christian. To be a disciple of Christ means to do as Jesus did, and Jesus wept for the multitudes, and he commanded us to love our neighbors as ourselves. And our neighbors are not only those people that we physically live next to, but they're all of God's creation all across this wonderful planet. And I believe that I first responded to World Vision through a television appeal. I've been a sponsor for, I think, about 13 years, and over those 13 years I've had 3 children. All have been from the continent of Africa. I had the joy of sponsoring a young child named Francisco when he came into the program at age 4, and last year he graduated from the program. So it's been a wonderful joy to watch his growth and development throughout his life, and receive letters from my children about their lives and how they're benefited by World Vision?
Well, I was actually born in Zimbabwe in southern Africa, so I spent my childhood in the third world, and I think probably that was the thing that started me down the path of sponsorship. I had lived in the third world and I had seen poverty and I understood the need. When I moved to New Zealand, my sister started working for World Vision, so I started to sponsor a child through World Vision because of my sister's job here. And I think something that really appealed to me was that I got to see the inside of World Vision, maybe more than some of the other sponsors do. And I've been really impressed with the way World Vision is run, and just, how responsibly and ethically everything is done within the company. And so I really thought this is the vehicle that I want to use to be able to help children who don't have what we have here in New Zealand. So that's what really got me started into child sponsorship.
First of all, this is our child that we sponsor in Uganda. There's a little picture of her, and that's the little pictures that she drew for us there. Talk a bit more about that?
So the reason why we sponsor Mandiri in Uganda is twofold. One, for the country Uganda. I love Uganda. I did a trip through there back in '99 and actually got caught up in a guerrilla attack, not the animal kind. And a friend of mine actually got killed in that incident. And the sad thing was that through the travels that I did, Uganda was the most beautiful country that I'd been to. People had worked really hard to make it such a fantastic country. And it was so sad that these people from another country had come across and was hurting Uganda when everyone was just so friendly and so working so hard and such a proud people as well. And when there became an opportunity up, someone suggested, why don't we sponsor a child? I was like, oh my God, it'd be a chance to give someone in Uganda a bit more than they've currently got, that little step further. So that's mainly why we sponsor a child in Uganda. Also sort of came from I came from a lucky background where I had a good education, but my parents split up, so I found it quite hard for myself growing up. And I thought, well, if I could give another child an opportunity just to see that they have the potential to do more through education and through health, then I'd love to be part of that. And that's why we sponsor our little girl Mandiri in Uganda. So, thank you.
Well, my journey with World Vision started in 2006 when I lived in the South Island and went to a conference in Christchurch where World Vision was a big part of it, and someone shared with us about kids on the other side of the world and what they have and what they don't have, and that really touched my heart. And just seeing all the pictures of the children lined up on the table, and you could choose one that you wanted to love by giving such a small portion of what I had, for 1 week. It was only like $1 a day then, and I was like, well, I can do $1 a day. So I picked a wee boy and decided that would be who I would sponsor, and that would be how I would give. And I was at school then, so I was on a part-time wage, and it was just an overwhelming feeling that I wanted to love someone by sponsoring them on the other side of the world. And it was amazing to me that World Vision enabled me to be able to do that. So I moved to Auckland and became a student and was on a student allowance, and I spoke to my dad and I was like, I don't know if I can afford to sponsor a child anymore, I don't know what the allowance was then, but I was like, I don't know how I'm going to cope. And he said, well, you made a commitment to that boy, and you need to follow that through. And I think I'm really blessed to have a dad that instilled values into me about commitment and about love and what unconditional love means. And so I guess it's been 6 years now, and I've sponsored him, and I get my yearly reports, and each year he's grown a little bit. He's a little bit healthier and a little bit stronger, and I get to see how just a small sacrifice that I've had to make is just such a difference in his life and in his community.